Okay. Hi, everybody. It is Tricia LaCroix with the Sacred Uprising Institute. We are featuring today Kristopher Lee, and I'm going to wait for a few moments for him to come on board. But while we're waiting, I just want to introduce Sacred Uprising Institute. We are a platform for spiritual and life transformation. We're a one-step oasis for continuing expansion from beginners to masters to beginners again. And what's really exciting, we have so many different, our wheelhouse, it has to do with God and sacred uprising and really transforming our lives. But we have different spokes in that wheel that I can't wait to talk to everybody about. And really, hey, Bliss, and from a conference that's coming up to a marketing company to we are creating an app that will allow for different people for us to interview people. It just won't be on Facebook. It will also be a platform where the spiritual community can come and we can talk and we can discuss things, and we can also bring our target audiences to really follow us where there are no algorithms, that it is something that is just very organic and based on spiritual awareness and oneness. And in fact, I was talking to some of my business partners today, and that's how we are constructing this company or this platform in oneness. And I am adding Kristopher on. So, all right, let's see. He is coming up very slowly. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Kristopher and I met, maybe about 10 months ago or so through his cousin. And she and I were talking, we've known each other for about 4 years. She goes, you got to meet my cousin. And so I was able to meet him, and we just really connected. And he has had such incredible wisdom when it comes to the shamanic path. He's had incredible wisdom. He does, in fact, I said to him at one point, I'm like, you can do this prayer where it's like this wall of protection. He goes, yeah, I'm just starting to learn that. And I'm like, okay, I can feel it. Let's do that. So I absolutely adore Kristopher. It looks like his internet is moving a little slowly while we're trying to add him. So let me tell you a little bit more about him. He started off in the religion. He was raised in the religion that I was raised in, and that is a fundamental independent Baptist. And he realized that there was a more sincere connection with the divine, and he started going on that path. He's learned, like with the scientific prayer, instead of petitioning God, that we command it forward, that we bring it forward. And that's what's so exciting about this prayer that he's going to be teaching us. So let's see. He's, I guess, still having a little bit of issues. Let's see. I apologize. Sometimes this takes a little bit getting used to, and it takes some time to get people on. All right. So let's see if that works. So, so back to Kristopher. He is now in Oregon, and when we first talked, it was a beautiful discussion about how he wanted to transfer his life spiritually. And what I have found through this beautiful journey, and let's see, Kristopher, we're going to try to get you back on here. For this beautiful spiritual journey, I go to him now, and I'm able to just get some, Kristopher, hi!
Hi. We got it.
Yeah. So I was introducing everybody to you, and one of the what I was saying is that when you and I first started our discussions, I remember the first discussion that we had, and thanks to Dottie, your cousin that introduced us, is that you had a ton of questions, and I was able to dive or go to your spirit and bring talk to you about what I was seeing and what I was sensing. But the beautiful thing is now where we know I can come to you, and we have these amazing discussions, and I learn so much from you. So I've told everybody that we came from a similar background, a similar religious background, but why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and kind of lead into what brought you to the scientific prayer?
Well, I wasn't on the first part when you were talking about a little bit of our connection with our spirituality, but I did grow up in a more traditional spiritual environment. And then what I did realize was that it was something that, I knew that I loved God, and I knew that I loved to connect with God. But what I also knew is that there was something lacking in my connection with God. I just intuitively, even as a child, I knew that there was something deeper and a different way of relating. But in the environment in which we grew up, there were only one way to
Right.
God, one way to relate,
Right.
and there were no other creative solutions. And then about 20 years ago, I came across the New Thought movement. And the New Thought movement really transformed the way that I connected with God, connected with myself. And what happened with that relationship is I found that there was a way to connect with God, not as if God is separate from me and a being in which I need to petition to and earn the love and the value of, but something that is in me, around me,
Yeah.
moving through me at all times, and in a conspiracy for my own good.
Oh my
In a
God.
conspiracy for your own good.
I love how you said
Yeah.
it, in conspiracy. That is beautiful.
I wish I can claim it as my own, but it's something that I learned, and it's something that really transformed my thinking. And that word conspiracy really has so much energy to it, and it's just a really great word to kind of amplify and wield in a way that's again for me and not against me.
Right.
And so, what do I want to say? Oh, so then I realized as I started to get into this new understanding, it really changed my life in ways that I didn't even expect. The fact that God was something that was a part of me and in a conspiracy for my own good and everywhere, well, there was nothing for me to actually try to earn, and there was nothing for me to actually strive for. There was actually just me being able to be self-aware and really clear about my natural connection with that divine goodness, and then allow it to unfold within me in however it wants to show up.
Right.
And what I know and what I've come to learn is that this thing that's moving through and around us is something that is infinite, and it expresses itself infinitely in so many different ways. What my experience of love is, or my experience of power is very unique, right? I'm a divine and unique singular manifestation of this awesome thing that is God. And so are you.
Right.
And so is everybody else who's
Right.
listening right now.
Right.
And so the way that you receive love and express love and learn to come into relationship with love is your own prerogative and your own privilege to know on a very intimate level. So there's this paradox of God being something that is everywhere and in a way very general and universal, but it's also very personal at the same time.
Right.
And so it really transformed the way I started to relate, and it really started to allow me to have a relationship with Spirit in a way that was very healthy and empowering. And one thing I will be willing to share is that, I also had a very long and hard relationship with low self-esteem and lack of self-love and self-doubt, and not understanding what it meant to actually speak my truth. To be able to be in a place where I'm able to meditate on the different aspects of Spirit and the way it shows up in my life, I'm actually, by way of that, learning more about my authentic self.
Right.
And so as I learned to fall in love with Spirit in my own way, I fell in love with myself.
That's because there is no
As
difference because we're one, right? It's all the
Exactly.
same, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Exactly.
my guy Thoth always likes to say. He goes, "It's a secret within the secret." And if you love yourself, you'll love God. You'll feel God's love because it just mirrors back to you. If you want to know God, know yourself.
Absolutely, and in particular with what we're talking about today, the scientific prayer, or if you want to call it spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, there's so many different names for it. It's as you know that part, as you learn to know God in a true and different way, it takes you further and deeper into the knowingness of yourself too.
Right.
The complexities of Spirit, the complexities of yourself begin to unfold deeper and deeper, and it's really powerful. It's a really powerful practice that. There's 5 steps, and as once we kind of embody and make it the 5 steps our own, then it becomes something I find is very natural, and has actually helped me understand Spirit a whole lot better, and by way myself, and by way just our day.
Well,
my day, the way I see things and the way opportunities come or what looks like challenges come, I see them very differently.
Right.
And it's really great.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. So before we talk about the scientific prayer, and you're going to take us through those steps, and everybody just know that at the end of this, Christopher's actually going to offer up a prayer. I cannot wait for all of you to hear this. So, but before we do that, I wanted to say this. The reason why I wanted him to do this is because I called him at one point because I had a question regarding some spiritual matters that I was concerned about. And he said, well, Trisha, before we talk about it, the way that I do this, I offer up a prayer. I said, okay. And I loved that. But when he did it, what I felt, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's commanding it forward. I've never felt safer than when I heard him pray. And so when I've met God, last Monday, I had another encounter with God where I really can say I met God. And when God was speaking, he spoke, he commanded things forward, and it reminded me of the way he prays. So this prayer, I think there's a lot of power. It's a lot of beauty. It is love. There's pureness about it. It's a manifestation of miracles. We read, if we want to go biblically, where miracles happen, Jesus just spoke it and it happened. And I know for myself, when I pray a certain way, and I have to be in that heart condition to do it. But when I pray a certain way, I will get an answer to my prayer within 24 hours. And I feel that it has a similar ring to it as the way of what we're going to be taught today. So that being said, Kristopher, we're ready.
Sure. Would you like me to, do you want me to start praying now? Or
why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about the prayer preparation, what people have to do,
Sure.
And we'll base it off of, let's say, how about for Sacred Uprising, since we're starting this new platform and we are but the voices of God. And so that's what this platform is. It's not about me. It's not about one individual. It is about creating a platform because God only has our mouths to speak and he only has our hands to create. So this is his platform. So why don't we create the prayer based off of that?
Sure. Well, in general, I think I'll give an overview of the prayer format. And so, first of all, there's 5 steps in this format for prayer, and there's a reason. It's a very intentional 5 steps. Okay. What it's designed to do is to be able to shift our consciousness and our understanding of ourselves and our relationship to our environment to one in which it's uniting itself with this invisible force, which we call spirit, right? And so step 1 is the identification, right? And then, and I'll explain, I'm going to do an overview first, and then I'll go into each one a little bit more, and then I think it'll make sense. So there's step 1, which is the identification, which is, God is everywhere and everything, flowing in us, through us, as us, and we're an individual expression of that. Right. Step 2 is the unification process. And so the unification process is then, once we realize that God is everywhere and everything, and basically, and essentially, not basically, but essentially being able to operate in all of our lives in every way under any circumstance, then we realize that we're actually part of that, right? So there's the unification part. If God is everywhere, then God's within me. Right. And if whatever I'm asking or desiring or wanting to experience is part of God, then it's naturally part of me, right? And so the next part then is the realization part. And it's a step within the prayer that transforms from, the all up God is to I'm part of that thing. And then this is how it actually is going to show up in my experience in my life. Okay. So we start to articulate the experience and embody the experience. And this is a real opportunity for us to really get involved emotionally and physically, feeling it in our body, articulating how it creates a change in our life and how it may manifest. Not to specificity, because we don't want to outline where we actually make limitations on spirit, but we want to create a general understanding of how it's going to show up in our life. And then the 4th part is the gratitude. And anybody who's knows about New Thought or listens to like Louise Hay, we know that gratitude is an essential part of the transformation process. We realize that we can raise our vibration up to a state of being really grateful that there is this inherent thing that's for us. And that gratitude, not only that there's something for us, but to know that we're connected with it and it's already part of us and it's just about to show up.
Okay.
Right? It's just about to be part of our life. And as we shift our consciousness from step one to this step, it's natural for us to fall into a state of gratitude because our consciousness has come to a state of truth about this unification. Right? So it's not even a we're not forcing anything. It's just we know that our consciousness has shifted by way of the result that gratitude is emerging.
Right. Okay.
And then the final step is release. So what's important for us to recognize at this point is that we get to do the dynamic process of claiming what it is we want to experience, how we want our divinity to show up, and at this point we get to surrender.
Right.
And we get to let go and know that there is actually nothing for us in our physical body to do to make it happen.
Right.
But it's just to allow and to know that this part is emerging and unfolding in our life and in our environment.
Okay.
And the thing to note about this process and this piece of the last step is it doesn't mean that I get to like lean back and like life's just going to happen and I'm just going to wait for it to ring my doorbell and it's going to show up. We do lean into our daily process. We do show up, right? We do in that time just know that and know that the moments are going to come in which the gradual process of the new reality is taking seat in our lives.
Right.
And I hope that makes sense because, and I don't want to like articulate specifically what that might look like. It's just, you'll know when you know and you get to lean into that moment, that next unfolding of that truth. But there is a surrender knowing that I don't have to micromanage my life. I don't have to micromanage my daily situations, plan my schedule around anything. When the moment shows up in my life while I'm in surrender mode, that it aligns with my truth, I say yes, and then you move forward with that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So can we take that and then like and create something with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So we talked a little bit about sacred uprising, right? And the way that we want it to unfold and embody, and what do we want it to represent. And you told me, when we discussed this, I asked you, like, what are the two, like, ultimate experiences that you want us to experience and those who choose to be a part of the sacred uprising movement, what that experience would be, and what were those two things? So
there were two things. So number one would be love. I mean, that's the foundation of this, and that's divine love. It's sacred love. It is the love of the universe, what the universe is made out of. So it's love. And then the other one would be truth. Truth.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about how truth would show up?
So truth would, when it comes to this platform, the people that are part of this platform, we have to live what we're teaching. I want everybody to be real. I want everybody, and I tell everybody who gets on these, and me too, it's going to be messy. We're not perfect. We're not trying to make this perfect. We want to make this real. We want to stand in our truth. We want to say, this is who I am. This is me with my shadow, with the perfection, with all of that I am, because all of it, when you put it all together, it's beautiful. And so it's got to be, Sacred Uprising needs to be the same. It's got to stand in truth. It has to stand in its light. And Sacred Uprising is made of all of us who are on this platform, all of us that want to assist our viewers with transformation in their lives. So so truth.
Awesome, I love it. Okay, so now that we've kind of established these two experiences, right? Then what we would do in step one, and again, I'll take those two, and then I'll walk really quickly through the five steps, and then I'll pray.
Okay.
So with step one, with the identification process, we would identify that to the point in which we are convicted of that truth, we would identify that God is love, and that God is truth, right? And truth and love are everywhere, in all things, at all times. There is no place that truth and love is not.
Right.
And to the point that we would get into that state of conviction, then we would move to align that since there is no place that God is truth and love. There's no place that truth and love does not exist. Therefore, it exists within me because I am a part of that. Right. And then I would go into a statement, step 3 of the realization, truth and love manifests itself through sacred uprising in these following ways, right? And then step 4 would be the gratitude statement, and step 5 would be releasing and allowing for that to emerge in its most beautiful and authentic way. And what's really important about all of these is that it's really good to take the two words and basically move them through each one of the steps, repeating them, because what you're experiencing here is a state in which the truth and love evolves to a point of full manifestation. So we're basically building a deeper relationship with truth and love through this prayer process. And the fact that we know it so intimately and embodied it so clearly that there's nothing more to do but then to release it and watch it.
Say that again. So. What you just said so resonated with me. And by the way, hey Dottie and Bliss, I love Kristopher too, and I love everybody's comments. Thank you for being part of it. And if you could like throw out some more comments so Kristopher knows that you're here. But say that again about creating a deeper relationship, what you want. And let me expound on this for a little bit. I'm a big believer, and this is part of the series that I'm going to be teaching. To receive what you want, you must become it. Yeah. And there's no separation. And then the thing is, you already are it. It's awakening to it, right? So to get a deeper relationship, that doesn't mean that you're creating a brand new one. It's that you're going deeper. You're creating a deeper relationship with love and truth, and there is no separation. It's already there. You're calling it forward. Wow. And
this form of prayer, absolutely, Trisha, absolutely. This form of prayer is actually one method of reminding yourself that you are part and parcel of the truth and love.
Wow.
It is a way of remembering.
Our fibers are made out of it, right? Our cells are made of it. That's the energy that holds us together.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, like truth and love, is running through the screen right now. It's running through the particles. It's running through the electric waves. It's running through my body right now. It's coming out of my in its own way, out of the vibration of my own words and yours. So yeah, it's part and parcel. And this prayer is allowing us to remember what you just said. Yeah.
You always make me want to cry. I mean, you're so amazing. I love what you speak because it's so anointed. It's so divine. It is like God speaking, wanting to connect us to what the true essence of what he is. And he's not somebody sitting on a throne. He is the air that we breathe. He's the sun that we see. He's the mountains. He's the grass. He is everything. He's the fibers of our being. And he wants us to know we're whole and to connect us. That's what he wants. And this is what this type of prayer allows. And I love it because you're giving like the engineering of a beautiful prayer, a beautiful calling forward, what you want to manifest that's already around you in what you are. You are giving us the engineering of it in a very simple way. So, okay. Yeah. I just have to say, I just love it.
And I do want to note, whether we say it now or later, like there are ways of people learning more about this form of prayer. I guess, I'm looking at the messages that my people I know that are watching, and I didn't really know that people I knew were going to be watching.
Yeah, hey, Krista, and Scott, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So what I do want to say, sorry I got sidetracked, is that for people who want to go deeper into this form of prayer and also the New Thought philosophy, where I learned this was from the Centers for Spiritual Living. And there's a place that, and maybe we can put that, links to like where people can find that in their local neighborhood and part of their country, part of their world, really. The Centers for Spiritual Living is where I learned about this prayer. It's where I was able to transform my thinking and connect myself to God in a new and different way that's empowering and creative, and it just is more life-giving. So I will say that before I go into.
let me just, Christy, a wonderful, beautiful friend of mine, and she said, Trisha, we have a similar background. So she has a similar background as you do too, Kristopher. So this is a foreign subject to me. I'm very open to it, but it's still a little intimidating. And I think that that's something that we're sensitive to, that, when I went to church, and I'm sure it's the same with you, I had to go to beg God to even hear me because I was just a sinful person. It was based on guilt. Everything was based on guilt. In fact, the pastor in the church had said that, we go ask God forgiveness, and before we even get back to our seats, we're sinners again. So I understand this is a very foreign concept, but if I could say anything, Christy, to you, is that you're perfection, you're whole. And all this is petitioning what it already resides in you to come in, because biblically, it's, the Bible says that God gives us the desires of our heart. I don't look at I look at it two ways. Yes, we can call something forward that we need, and he will provide that, but I also believe he puts the desires within our heart so he can provide it to us. So that's how I see it. So I think that maybe Christy and others like you, that when you hear him pray, you'll understand this is beautiful. This is a way to call forth miracles in your life, and to have God step forward, because he's there with you. He is you. He is in everything, and in everything that you do, and everything that you are. There's no separation. And this is just another way of bringing it forward.
Yeah, it's definitely the unfoldment process, and it's a very different way of thinking about things, particularly those of us who grew in a more, regimented, separation-oriented philosophy. It is something that requires a certain level of contemplation and meditation. One thing that I'll also say is that it behooved me to really sit and meditate on what it means, what unfoldment means, right? If God is within me and around me, what does unfoldment actually look like? If I can create a metaphor for that, if I can create a storyline, my own cosmology, or archetypical story around what unfoldment from within looks like, it will help shift the way a person understands God, right, and our nature and the creative force. Right. And what I truly believe that, with your heart, when your heart calls you to express something that is a win-win-win situation for myself and for you and for others, that's God truth. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so what does that look like when that unfolds from within, from a divine standpoint? And meditation on that, contemplation on that, will really support that. Furthermore, contemplating on the experience that you want to have, what does that look like in the 5 steps? I would recommend that people, if they want to, look at these 5 steps, and meditate, what does the identification process really look like for me, right? What does the unification process look like for me? Because the more we meditate on these things, the more we begin a relationship with that. And like any relationship, the more you spend time with it, the more authentic and nuanced it becomes, and the more embodied it becomes, and more natural. So it does take time, mm-hmm. And like I said, Center for Spiritual Living, it was a great place where I learned this. And if you're in Seattle, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, Kathy Ann Lewis is a rock and roll awesome minister. She provides a really great outlet for being able to embody this in a great community. So there's a little plug there. So anyway, that's
you said, to meditate on it, and I am full of agreement with you, but I also believe it's a lifestyle. So when I wanted to call love into my life, the one, I knew that I had to become the one for me. I knew that I had to become love, and that I wasn't just supposed to love myself, which that's where it starts, but I had to love everybody around me. I had to start dealing with people differently. I needed to start treating people differently, whether it came to my children, to people on the street, whatever it may be. I needed to shift to love, but you have to call it from within first. That's the first step. It's not something where you just live your life. However, if you want the flow, an easy flow, you have to become what you want to call in. Just the way it is. Right. And I am living proof it can happen. I'm living proof. And by the way, I just saw Dak was throwing some hearts out, and Dak's going to be with us next Monday, and I can't wait to be talking to him about Christ consciousness. So why don't we move forward? Kristopher, I would love for us to pray. And then after we do that, I want to introduce people to some of your gifts, how you can assist people. and how people can get in contact with you. But first, why don't we let's put some foot to action and show them how show them this type of prayer.
Okay, great. All right. All right, so God is truth and love. There is no place that truth and love does not exist. For I know that the vibration of love and of truth is running through every fiber of my experience, through every part and parcel of the environment around me. And I see it showing up in evidentiary proof in all ways. I see love showing up with the nurturing that a mother gives to their child. I see love showing up with the way that forgiveness unfolds into a new connection. I see how love shows up in the way that societies come together with new ways of connecting so that there is a new birthing in life. I see that happening every day and all around me. And I know that God is truth, and there is no place that truth is not. For I know that truth runs on the integrity of reality. I know that if there was no truth in reality, that the walls of reality would tumble down. And so I know that there is truth running into the structures of every building and of every person, of every voice. There is no place that truth is not, because I live and walk and breathe in truth and love in all ways. And I connect with truth and love in that way. I know that truth and love is running through me and embodied in me in a very unique expression. I feel that love running through me and embodying in me and connecting with me. And I feel that truth running through me and embodying and connecting through me. And it shows up in the way that I speak words of love and truth. That I know that when I stand in my truth, I stand with my heart, and it moves things and it shapes things and it motivates me to be a greater person and a different person. As I know that for myself, I know that for Sacred Uprising. I know that Sacred Uprising is a place where it is an oasis and it is a beacon for truth and love. And all those who are willing to participate in the Sacred Uprising movement are ones who can open themselves and receive the truth and love of who they are and the deep connection that they are with truth and love within. And as it bubbles up in their lives and in their systems, it pours over into the connections that they make. And for those who are not even part of the Sacred Uprising movement, they feel the vibrations of truth and love in every way. We know ourselves deeper as embodiments of truth. We make our decisions based on truth and with integrity. We make our plans based on truth. We do it with love, and we express love through all of our doings and all of our beings and all of our weighing. And I know that truth and love is a place that is emanating from that which is Sacred Uprising. I am so grateful that I've been able to experience what it's like to know truth and love in a deeper, more intimate level in a very unique way that is through Sacred Uprising. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to remember that I am a place where truth and love shows up every day and in every way. And I release this knowing that truth and love is vibrating and emanating through every aspect of my being, of Trisha's being, of Sacred Uprising's being, and anybody who is wanting to accept this good for themselves. I know this to be true. I know this is happening now. And I know that there's nothing more that I need to do except to witness, watch, and let it unfold in the most beautiful way. I accept truth and love to be my reality right now, and so it is. So that's like scientific prayer. It's a really powerful. I'm trying to speak now because I'm in it, but yeah. It's a really powerful way of again remembering your relationship with Spirit and remembering the changes that can happen in my life as long as I align myself with my divine nature. And it makes decisions for me. You know, it makes it makes decisions for me, and it guides me and it leads me. It takes me going forward, and in ways it heals me going backwards. You know, so
right.
So yeah, that's an example. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm a bit speechless. There's something different about that. There's something different. It comes from a place of empowerment. It comes from that God space within us, what you just spoke. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we finished that. You finished that prayer, and I feel like a changed person. That yes, mm-hmm. This is what is called in, and you do it so eloquently. And I thank you for that. And I know this is something that we'll put, like I said, we'll put some links so people can learn about it. Christopher had sent me some links because this, Christy, I just saw you know, that I think that's another subject, and
it's another subject.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's a great
to
question,
talk to
but
you
another
about
subject.
that, on a, yeah, we can relate, but we can talk to you. I can talk to you about that privately. But you know what? I just, you know, God has said, you know, no judgment, and it's very different from the way that we were raised. But anyways, I love the way that you prayed. I love, and there's so many different ways, the things that you want to bring forth in your life, bring forth, not bring in, because it's not there. What's already there, you bring it forth. And that's what God, I mean, we're here because God wants us to have, we are an expression of God. I am the Trisha expression of God. He wants to have an experience as Trisha, and of course he wants to answer our prayers. Just like when my daughter, who's upstairs, when she asks me for something, you better believe I want to give her what she asks for. And what's even more beautiful is what I've learned through this absolutely beautiful relationship that I have, is that the man, the one in my life, he hears the things that I say, and magically they show up in my life. He gives it to me all the time, and sometimes he goes even above and beyond of what I've asked, and he gives above and beyond that. But all I have to do is call it out, and it brings forward. He is the greatest teacher of God's love that I've ever met. And you, Kristopher, I'm like so grateful. I know that I've told you, I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to like teach this to us like individually so we can learn this. But I believe that so many of us can take this example and really bring it into our lives and create miracles, because that's what we are, right? We are a miracle. So call them in.
Absolutely. Like every one of us is living miracles, just waiting to express that miracle, you know, as long to the degree that we remember. And yeah, this form of prayer, this consciousness is available to everybody. So yeah, it's changed my life. It's changed my life. And again, we'll put the links on where people can go to learn more about it, take classes on it, and practice it with a community of people who really will support them. So, but yeah, so thanks for that. It was a privilege to be able to like raise awareness about this kind of prayer. It's a privilege to talk to you. I adore you.
I adore you.
You're doing a great
I love
thing.
you to death. You know
and
that.
Thanks for bringing me on.
So what I want to do, I want to connect other people to you. So I gave a little blurb before you were able to get on, but I want, you know, why don't you tell a little bit of the modalities and the gifts that you have that you can assist people and how they can get in contact with you?
Okay. Well, right now I'm very much in training right now as far as like a spiritual worker. So I'm studying the path of shamanism right now, and so that training is going 2 years into training right now. It's a beautiful process and a new way. I'm learning about spirit and practicing the spirit and seeing how lives transform in that way too. I do intuitive readings for people. So if people are interested in intuitive readings.
And he's good. I'm just letting you all know. He's amazing. I'm just telling you. Continue.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a while. So if you're interested in, like, you know, I do tarot card readings. That's the way that I kind of connect with, you know, those are the tools, and that's the vehicle that I connect to each person's individual wisdom. Yeah. Just reach out to me. I have a website up. It's called embracesovereignty.com. You can email me there if you want to set up an intuitive reading appointment. Okay. Yeah. And
can people get in contact you on Facebook as well?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
So
ping me.
Yeah. So I've tagged Kristopher on Facebook. We will put a link to his website on this video. Kristopher will be doing some more videos coming up. We haven't quite set those dates up, but we'll be doing some more. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that you heard the call and you were willing to share this, because I know, you know, and I've told you this in private, but I gotta tell you, you've changed my life. And I don't know, my spiritual path without you would look very different than it is today. So you've given me protection when I've needed protection. You've been a listening ear. I feel like you've, you know, allowed me to put my arm in yours, and you've led me down some paths that that I've been concerned or scared about. And I'm very grateful that your cousin Dottie gave me the gift of knowing you. And so thank you for
Absolutely.
that. So,
Yeah, well, it's, you know what, we do that for each
right.
other, and that's the beauty of community, you know. But that's the beauty of, you know, God led me to you too, and my relationship with myself, with God, and has been deeper because of you. So I thank you for that.
Like Ruby says, we're just
honoring.
walking each other home, right?
That's right. Let's go home. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, I'm so grateful that everyone everyone who watched this video and who will watch this video. And please, if you want your life radically changed and be empowered and transformed, just another amazing person that if he resonates with you, reach out to him. And I'm sure that he would be happily help you with whatever it is that you're needing. So again, Sacred Uprising, you can we do have a website, www.sacreduprising.com. We are launching the YouTube channel either later this week or beginning of next week. The website will be updated, and you can always find us on Facebook as well. So Kristopher, once again, thank you, and I can't wait till the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Until then.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Right.
Thank
Bye.
you.